Welcome to this week's partner training that we have for all you great partners out there. We greatly appreciate the time and efforts you guys are putting into spending a little time here with us. So this week we have a really good presentation here. Is how to sell business credit loans from Stage, and it's a weekly coaching webinar that we have. So for all of you that are new and that are looking to scale your business, this is a really good topic that I always like to discuss. Just the simple fact that it really helps you understand that business credit building is a really neat process. And if we can offer business owners the ability to establish business credit not tied to their EIN and drive and scale their business to the next level based on the fact that they have credit that is available to them, not tied to their social, now they're able to divorce themselves financially from the business and grow the business the way they want to. So one of the things that we've been getting into a lot lately is a lot of live events. In fact, about a month ago, we came back from Rhode Island. We had a live speaking event there, 400 business owners that are in real estate. And one of the things is how to be able to utilize business credit, utilize your back office, and really kick it into high gear so that you can obtain, or so that they can obtain the information that you're putting out and making the connection from on Stage. So one of the few things here that I want to talk with you guys about is obviously joint venture live events, right? You have to be able to find other organizations, groups, and all that good stuff to allow you to pitch to their group. You may run into an attorney, some sort of law firm, accounting agency, credit repair company, or maybe somebody or a company that does the opposite of what you do, but they also help business owners, or they maybe help the individual that is looking to get into business. A lot of 501c3, even churches and organizations that are non-for-profit organizations that are looking to have a person like yourself that's knowledgeable and authority figure in the business credit building space. And one of the things is, guess what? They have a following. So this is a way to generate a lead as organic as possible, where it's not costing you money. But obviously the most important thing here is that if you have a database, they have a database of clients. Interchanging clients will benefit both parties. And a lot of times this is the formula to use to be able to create lead generation, of course, in turn, traffic conversion. Okay, so another thing that here we want to cover here is the how to find events, like using Evenbrite, local chamber of commerce, and even your local SBA. It's very important to understand that the local chamber of commerce, they have a lot of business that go to them asking and inquiring on information on how can I how can you find a business out there that helps business owners like us, or maybe a group of employees that are W-2 based and are needing assistance in getting into the business world. Okay, so one of the websites that I like to find events here, at least at Credit Suite, one of the neat events or companies that we have a tendency of working with is what we call Evenbrite. And the neat thing about Evenbrite is that they will, you can see and scope what's going on in your area on some events that you can even get in for free. Okay, this is crucial. So if you were to go to Evenbrite, which is event and Brite, BRITE.com, what you can do is that you can put a date, maybe this month or next month, and find what's going on out there. And then come to the drop down here and then look into business events. Okay, these are events that it's an untapped market that are, a lot of people are not doing what you do. A lot of people are not knowledgeable of what you do. And this is information that you can truly benefit from by just simply going to a free website like eventbrite.com. Obviously, the ones who are hosting the events are paying to advertise on here. But I mean, it's things like there's so many business owners that are out there and they're doing live events. This is a good one right here. For example, the Empower Me. This is one that you know, it charges $100 to get in the door, and a lot of these events are for women empowerment. Okay, these are events that if you can get in there with the right hosts that are willing to, you know, bring you in as a figure. Because guess what? Look at it this way: a lot of these event coordinators have to pay thousands of dollars for some of these speakers that jump on that stage. Some of them range anywhere from 5,000. Some of them range anywhere from 25 grand, 50 grand for a few hours of them speaking in front of a crowd of 200, 300, 500 people. So if you're able to get and connect with, you know, maybe a joint venture and say, listen, I am a business credit building company. I empower business owners. I educate them. I help them get funding from A through Z. I offer this, this, and that. And then you go obviously to your back office and pull the information and data on PowerPoint presentations, which we have, right? If you go to your back office, you'll find a lot of information like the funding blueprint and get business credit with no personal guarantee. These are a lot of these things that you can use so that now you can get in with some of these events that are out there and available. So you can just simply go to a company like Eventbrite and, you know, just look through all these different types of events that are happening locally. And guess what? Setting up booth doesn't have to cost you money because you're a speaker. So a lot of times they'll let you in for free and you don't have to spend 500 bucks or 1,000 bucks to get in. A lot of things is all about getting it with the host or whoever's hosting that event in order for you to be able to bring, oh, you know, the experience that you have in business credit building and loans. Okay, here's another one right here: real estate investing for beginners. It's another one that's free, right? So you get in there and you connect with these business owners that are looking for funding. Now what ends up happening, this is a 500-person event that we have locally here, talking to brand new business owners. Guess what? They don't have a connection to a bank. That's first. Second, most of them are not going to be able to qualify for an SBA, and most of them don't even want to wait 3 to 4 months to get the funding in hand. They want investing now, especially with when it comes down to real estate. There's no such thing as SBA loans for a real estate investment. It's just too much of a restricted high risk industry for an SBA to be able to, for them to get approved on an SBA 504. So a lot of times what we need to understand is that if you get in early, okay, a lot of these people will recognize your name. A lot of these people will recognize what you're doing, and you're educating them, teaching them what you need to do in order for them to be successful through it all. Okay, this is very important. This is crucial here to you and your business so that you can learn how to scale it to the next level. All right. This is a real estate event that is local here in the Tampa area. And again, all you have to do is just simply go to the Eventbrite website, put your information in, and start looking for events that can cost you hardly anything to get into the door. Obviously, a lot of the marketing material that you need, trifolds, you know, obviously get your business cards ready because you're going to be giving a lot of those out, especially when you're looking at 2, 3, 4, 500 people. And as soon as you get off the stage, everybody's just going to rush to you because they want to talk with you on all this great advice that you're giving and putting out. Okay, so did want to cover that with you. The website is eventbrite.com, and all you do is just put in your local information, or maybe you're in a tri-state area that you can quickly drive to a certain area. So start looking for some of these events because we we kill it. Anytime that we have a live speaking event and we have myself speaking from the stage, Ty Crandall, or even Steve Weibel, one of our senior business development members here, it's a home run. I mean, if we have two people on the 200 people in the crowd, and you're thinking about 25% turnover, that's 50 sales that are enrolling in a program like this, all from, I mean, again, they don't know who we are. We're tapping into industries that they've never heard of us. They don't even know that business credit building exists. And that's the greatest thing about it all, because when you're teaching them and educating them on this process and how this works, and you're telling them that they can do this, they can do that, that is crucial, and that is going to help you in growing that side of the business. Can you imagine if you were selling 20 or 30 of these a month by just doing one presentation a month? Can you imagine that? It's the opportunities are endless. Now we run about 3 a month, because we take about 1 week in between to travel and to take rest. But about 3 a month, that's solid. And then of course, obviously, scaling your business and hiring more people to answer calls when you're out and doing this. Obviously, that's another topic, which if you go to your partner success, suite login portal, you can start hiring people and adding them into your portal so that now they can start selling for you instead of you finding yourself having to, do a lot of the selling and a lot of wearing a lot of different hats. Because let's be honest, you start talking to or enrolling 20, 30 people a month, that means that, you're probably talking to about 150 to 200 people a month on business credit, okay? So let's not limit to only joint ventures, but a lot of nonprofit organizations that help set up entities for business, that help with taxes for business, that assist business owners with grants and funds. Those organizations need your expertise to be able to go on stage and pitch and give them all the information that they need for you to be able to help those clients out. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how to sound credible by using your field tested, proven process and the PowerPoint presentations that we have here for you. So what I do want to show you here is that a lot of the information that we have that we bring to you has been material that we've already used, right? So a lot of times when you're doing your presentation from stage, what you're doing is you're not pitching. Okay, the biggest mistake that any speaker that when they're on stage and they're talking to people and speaking on the material, they have a tendency of pitching this product. And if you sign up now, if you use those type of words and those type of terminologies and verbiage, what ends up happening is that a lot of people kind of sense that. And what ends up happening is they kind of turn away and they'll sometimes walk out the room, go take a bathroom break, but you have great material. So what I always like to say is that you want to sound credible. You want to sound as an authority figure. You want to be able to put yourself on that pedestal and now they trust you, love you based on the information that you're bringing forth. So what I always like to say is you need to become an educator. Educating people is totally much different than pitching people on a product. Okay, nobody wants to get sold. They don't want to get sold on anything. People want to be able to receive the information. They need to be able to mull it over, think it over, analyze it, and then in their subconscious make a decision that you are the best fit for their needs. Okay, you guys follow me here? So the important part of this, the important part of all presentations and everything that we do, it's all about really educating the client. So I want to show you a little bit of a presentation that we have here on the funding blueprint to get business credit with no personal guarantee or credit check, and of course loans and credit lines. So if you look at that subject line, it's not saying sign up on my program. I would provide you these features and benefits. Okay, so the most important thing of it all is being able to educate them on what is business credit, and then the second thing is how they can benefit from business credit. And then the third thing, of course, is letting them know on what loans are out there, what they can qualify, what are the type of different lending programs that you have. If you're in real estate, obviously you're going to talk on things that they can have fast, immediate money right now. Fast, immediate money right now means that they have the necessary money to go to in front of a house, put in an offer, and then worry about the details later. Right? Everybody wants that. If you're in the trucking business, how can you get me money to get my own authority, my own insurance, and then get me funded on what I need so I can get my trucks on the road? And those different industries want to get educated on how they can establish business credit. So by looking at what we have here, the first thing that you want to do is basically have an outline. Right? With this outline, you're basically presenting and letting them know what's available, what you're offering. The second thing is that you want to let them know what you're covering today. Obviously making sure that you put good pointers in there to reflect and state that, how to beat the banks and become fundable, how anyone can get business credit for your EIN not linked to your Social Security. Good points that these are hot buttons of what we call how to get high limit revolving corporate cards, how to get this credit with no credit checks or guaranteed, how to access loans and credit lines when banks say no, how to get money as a startup, nonprofit, or grow and expand. These are all hot buttons. These are things that people want to hear. for all along this time, you know, banks are only selling one product. Let's be honest. The big banks, J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, TD Bank, PNC, maybe some of the local banks in the Midwest or West out there. That you guys have your own types of banks that are not on the East Coast. But the point is that their guidelines are so black and white. It's only SBA and that's it. But there's no alternative lending. There's no stagger program. There's no UBF. There's no UCL. There's no lease back. You know, there's no other types of lending programs that are a little more alternative. So therefore, if you're not an SBA, you don't have a 750. If you're not an SBA quality, you don't have a 750 credit score with 3 full body of credit criteria profile. They don't want to talk to you. So then they just decline the deal and they just move on, and then that's it. Okay, so here's the hot buttons, and this is what you want to do on stage. You want to be able to portray the hot buttons, right? You want to talk on who you are, who you help, okay? You want to be able to have the information that is readily for them, all right? If they're looking for money to grow your business, obviously they've been denied financing or credit or think they will be. You know, the easiest and fastest way to get capital, your business to fund itself, right? These are blueprints and all that kind of stuff that you can put before them. And then, of course, what you want to do here is you want to talk a little bit about yourself. If you've been in real estate for the longest time, if you're in credit repair, if you do any types of consulting services or help business owners out, you want to let people know that who you are. You're legit, right? And that you know ties into have we written a book lately? You know, I'm talking to some partners that are getting into writing a book, and it doesn't have to be a 1,000-page lecture. You're not writing textbooks for colleges. You're simply taking a lot of the material and life experiences. If you're in real estate, you're talking life experiences and how business credit has helped you. And now you're putting your book out on Amazon, and you're seeing that people are now jumping on your information. You're putting your information on out there so that people can recognize that not only are you an authority figure in business credit, but you've written about it. Okay, so I have a few partners that this week said, hey, listen, I just finished my book. I'm posting it on Amazon, and I had one guy sell 200 copies for, you know, $15.99. That's the kind of stuff that you really want to have and prepared. So when you have your booth in one of these events that have 150, 500, 1,000 people, and you have the opportunity to jump on stage, now you're an author. You're an authority figure. You're on a pedestal. You're credible as can be, and that's information that you want to cover in the beginning of your presentation when you're trying to educate these business owners on what business credit is and how it's going to be able to help them. Okay. The other thing here is that, for example, we take Stephen Weibel. He's one of our top guys here in our business development team. You know, how he personally flipped over 300 homes and built, you know, and sold print and manufacturing company. And who he is. People need to buy in. People buy off of stories. Okay, people buy off of stories because it makes sense. They can relate to you. You're relating with a specific demographic or avatar. People now have you have their full attention based on the information that you're providing them. All right, and of course, what you also want to bring up is, you know, how getting money for your business is hard. That's a pain. You're letting them know that, yes, I understand. You've been trying to obtain funding and you have not been able to do it, or you don't know how to, or maybe you got the wrong advice, but let me explain to you what obtaining business credit is. Now you start throwing statistics in there. All right. Per the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, more than half of business will fail in the next 5 years or less. 82% of business failures are due to issues with cash flow. All right. Staggering 90% of business owners agree that availability of loans is a problem. Small business majority. 51% of small business owners worry weekly about capital. All right. And this is information that you can utilize for your benefit to strengthen your credibility even further. Okay. How to succeed with getting money. Okay. Things like improve your fundability. And this is material that you have already in your back office. Now, by the way, I also want to let you know, by attending today, if you email info@creditsuite.com, be more than happy to send you over the slide. Now, obviously, we don't want you using anything that says Credit Suite on there. You rebrand it the way you want it to be. You put your name and your paws on it, because you want to make sure that you're presenting, you're not showing Credit Suite information. But if you're on here today, I want to be able to provide you with this PowerPoint presentation, which is very powerful and we use from stage, and it is a tremendous success. Now, one of the things that I also want to open up here is that although we speak in 200, 500 events, also 10, 100 people events are pretty strong as well. So you don't have to go out with a big bang in the beginning until you get, like what we like to say, the marbles out of your mouth, right? You need to be able to flow with this material. You need to be able to practice it, read it, live it, smell it. And it's supposed to be something that you are speaking naturally. So when you are going through your PowerPoint presentation, you're not stuttering or moving, fidgeting or not very sure. People, again, read into that very quickly. Okay, so you want to be able to have this material readily available. You need to study it and make sure that you have everything and all the pointers that you have, so you know what's the next slide that's coming in place. All right. So again, it's all about lead generation, but you want to do it organically by finding joint ventures in there and inviting their client base to view your webinars or even live events. That is pretty neat. Okay. So the other thing that I do want to touch on very briefly is this. What we're getting to see a lot is a lot of live speaking mistakes. Okay, a lot of the live speaking mistakes that we're seeing, even when other companies that are out there, right? Because sometimes you'll have an accounting firm that wants to speak on their product, a software company like Infusionsoft or Zendesk or ADP or Reynolds and Reynolds, and you have a lot of folks that are out there that don't really speak for a living, but they are small business, right? They don't have 100 employees, they don't have 500 employees, but they want to speak because they know that it'll open up the world of opportunities for more profit. So one of the biggest mistakes that they do up there, and I spoke on this very briefly a little earlier, is wanting to go in too soon and start pitching a product or even putting pricing on there. You don't never want to speak on pricing. You never want to speak on the things that are out there that are how much your program costs. It's a big no-no when it comes down from stage. Okay, again, nobody wants to be sold anything. People want to be educated, and then if you hit that subconscious mechanism, then you're now turning that client into a believer, someone who believes in, trust you, love you, and are willing to follow you. But the most important thing to have as a speaker, you need to have your social media up to date. You have to have your social media platforms laid out. You need to have things in place and in order, because if you don't, what ends up happening is that when they go research you and your company, they don't see recent posts. They see posts from 3-6 months ago. They don't see recent material and videos that you're posting and putting things up there. So the most important thing to have is, if you have Instagram, if you have YouTube, Venmo, you have Facebook, and you have Twitter, you have to be able to continually produce and put information up. We here in our team like to call it in marketing breakfast, lunch, and dinner posting. Okay, in the morning when you wake up, most of us know the first thing we grab is our phones. We look at news, Facebook posts, who's doing what. Okay, so immediately what you do is, the night before, you prepare yourself with the things that you're going to be posting the next day, and then put a clock so it can automatically post when it hits that timer. Then what you want to do is, you also want to have lunchtime. At lunchtime, people go on their lunch break or maybe drive somewhere, and immediately they jump back on their phones again to view what's the latest posts, what are people doing on Instagram, what are they doing here, so on and so forth. All right, and then of course dinner time, which is commute time for many that in big cities don't drive, but they use the public transportation. They're looking at their phones through the whole ride. Wouldn't it be nice to have your platforms all posted and ready to go, either from a live event, people are going and traveling home and wanted to do business with you, but they were just overwhelmed with too much information. They do want to do business with you, but they just need to be able to mull that information over. So what you need to have in place is make sure that your platforms are lined up, ready to go, so that when people start going to your website, when they start looking at your social media platforms, when you start dropping a lot of the information from the partner success and videos on Venmo or even on YouTube, your information is valid, up to date, and everything looks in line and in order. Okay, so the other thing I do want to talk to you guys very briefly is that if you're going to be doing a lot of live events or considering on doing live events, one thing that you want to look into is a software called OBX Studio. okay? And OBX Studio, what we find is a free service, is a free download, okay? Let me go in here, OBS. And with OBS Studio, what it allows you to do is an open broadcaster software, okay? And with OBS, it's free, and you can download it for Windows, Mac OS, or Linux. The point here is that right now, when it comes down to YouTube, instead of maybe going through like WebinarJams or maybe utilizing a type of other different software to kind of feed your live stream, you know, it's kind of costly, right? So you do events, you do this, you're spending money on marketing, you're spending money on here. OBX Studio is a free software, and you don't have to spend $700 or $1,000 a year. And it's real simple to use once you download the content onto your computer. The point is that once you have YouTube open, you want to go back to this material right here that you can have full access to in your back office, and now start educating people through webinars. Start educating people through live stream. You start placing your links on there. You can even get a Calendly link that will allow you to have people book right on your Facebook page or on your YouTube page, and links that intermingle with each other, that intermingles the platforms. So it's very crucial for you to be able to have this type of information so that you can start live streaming information like PowerPoint presentations, helping people establish business credit, getting funding, what type of funding programs you have, Experian, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax Decoded, how to increase your credit score with 3 trade lines on Dun & Bradstreet, payment behavior, experiences are very important in how to increase business credit. And this is all information that you can do through OBS Studio, and this is information that can be driven and taken into YouTube Live, and now you can use this information to now feed this information to the world and start generating organic videos that are yours. Now, again, we have videos that are readily available for you to download, but a lot of times you're hearing a voiceover, a lot of times you may hear one of us speaking on that, but how neat would it be that now you have your own video that you can produce? And OBS is very easy to use, and it's a product that you'll be very impressed as you continue to submit your live feeds through YouTube. Now people will start recognizing you even further. Again, if you're looking to do joint ventures, which is a tremendous revenue stream, and you will see your business scale high as an eagle, this is the way to go. This is the latest and the greatest. Live events is where it's at. Webinars are great. However, when it comes down to doing live events, this is where the bread and butter is at. This is where a lot of the partners that are signed up with us that are really killing it on a monthly basis, this is what they do. I have one partner that doesn't even talk about business credit building. He immediately brings them in as a to speak about loans and services and all that good stuff. And then if they don't qualify for loans because their credit is maybe a 400 or 500, there's no revenue, there's nothing that the bank can't hold on to, then what ends up happening is this. He then speaks on business credit building because it's a very easy solution. Yes, you didn't qualify for it now, but guess what? I have a program where you can build business credit not tied to your social. This is what we do. And now you take it further and help them out in establishing the business credit that they need so that they can grow their business the way that is needed. Okay. The other thing here that I also want to connect with you here, there's another company, if you're able to connect with so that you can do some live webinars. It's called WebinarJam. Okay, and WebinarJam, if you start doing a little more closed network, in other words, things like you send out an email blast and you start advertising on Facebook, right? And you grab the attention of 1,000 people that now want to be in your live webinar stream. You don't have to charge them anything to get into a live webinar, but now you have people that are registering for it. Using WebinarJam is very powerful tool to be able to have now those clients go into your funnel, use a drip campaign email so they can sign on to your your webinar. And guess what? Now you have their name, you have their email, you have their telephone number. In order for them to get into your webinar, they need to have this information provided. They need to provide this information to you so that they can now check your webinar out. And then guess what? Now you have leads that you're calling that liked your material. And then when you're calling them, guess what? You're not saying, are you ready to sign up today? Again, it's not about pitching. It's about letting them know, listen, how was the material? Did it relate to what you do? Do you find that this may help you out in your business? Do you find that this will be able to take you to what you're looking to do? What are your goals? And those are the small little things that you can utilize to be able to now take a client that never heard of you, and now they start believing what you're saying. Okay, so making sure that you're using systems like OBX Studio, WebinarJam, and other types of platforms to create live webinars and YouTube live presentations is really going to gain a lot of traction with the people that you're doing business with. Okay. The other thing here that I also want to cover here with you is when it comes down to finding joint ventures. A lot of times, if you go too big or try to go to organizations or companies or influencers that are too big for you, they're going to want a piece of the pie. Okay. So that's something that before you go in, you need to think: do you want to split any of the commissions or the profits that you're going to make? A lot of them, we did one with a big influencer that's huge, over $500,000 in subscribers on YouTube, over 1 million subscribers on another type of platform, and when they have that type of following, that is strong. Okay, and the reason why it is strong, because you're tapping into a market that they're allowing you to, but they want to get compensated for that, right? They sell their list, but they generated their own leads through social media. They use different tactics and strategies to be able to generate and keep those clients. Now, one of the things that you really want to focus on, yeah, okay, so if you go too big and try to get with bigger influencers, they're going to want a good piece of the pie, and or upfront money. So you need to be able to know, what is your negotiating tool? What is your power that you have? What are you bringing forth? Okay, so if you have 200 people in your room, and I can close 25% of them from stage without pitching the product but educating them, I'm willing to do this for you. So do keep that in mind when you're looking for joint ventures. A lot of them want a piece of the pie, and if you're selling the program at the regular retail price of $3,000 for business credit building, obviously there's a threshold to bring your client on board, and then the rest is your profit. But you need to make sure that if you are going to sell 10, 20, 30, 50, or 100 of these enrollments, it really comes down to how much are you willing to give that person. And then, of course, make sure that you're open to, maybe the first time around, you're paying a little higher in the percentages, but the next time around, once they see that they're benefiting from it, and that you followed through and you wrote the check for the amount that you anticipated and that you quoted, then they're willing to do more business with you and then provide you the opportunity to get in at a lesser price. Okay, so that's a few of the things that I do really want to cover here with you guys here today. It's one of those things that we've been doing lately, and we're seeing a tremendous opportunity here with everything that is happening. The company is moving in a direction of doing more live events, and it's crucial for us to be able to have all this information and data up to date. So feel free to reach out here to us. Today, I just wanted to cover this with you, because what we're finding is that we're working with some of the partners that are interested in doing live events and saying, hey, listen, I saw what you guys did in Rhode Island. I saw what you guys did in Atlanta. I saw what you guys did in Little Rock, Arkansas, and you guys did really well. How can I find my own joint ventures? How can I find opportunities out there? Listen, and it doesn't necessarily have to be joint ventures. A lot of times, if you have a strong database, local churches. Some of us go to local church, and they have a 500, 1,000 people congregation, and a lot of times educating those nonprofit organizations is the most important thing, and you can really pull out a lot of people from there, just for the simple fact that that they really trust you based on their belief. But it's one of those things that you can really take and work with to ensure that it all works out for your best favor, in building business credit for business owners and getting the funding that they need. So this week I wanted to keep it short, just give you some really solid material, because this is what's happening. This is the trend. A lot of us are going into that whole live space. Webinars are good and they're really strong. You should be able to build your database through webinars, lead generation, so then you can go on and then cough out money for a CRM so that you can manage them appropriately. Don't forget, the back office allows you to add clients, or not so much clients, but salespeople. I always say, go hire salespeople that are 100% commission, no salary. If they sell, they make money. And one of my favorite salespeople to hire when it comes down to this program is obviously the salespeople that sell cell phones out of the kiosk. They're aggressive. A lot of them don't have a salary, and they're based off of what they produce and sell. And this is information that is valuable, that if you want to start scaling your business to the next level, let's start looking for joint ventures. Let's start looking for live events. Let's start selling and not selling, but educating clients from the stage, and you will see how you will scale this to a tremendous level just by doing a couple little tweaks and using a lot of the back office material that's available here to you from the suite login. So Hiram here this week. Greatly appreciate you guys. If you guys need anything here from us, feel free to reach out here to us. We've been more than happy to assist in anything that you need. And of course, you can always connect with us at info@creditsuite.com or 877-600-2487. Again, that number is 877-600-2487. Thanks so much, and look forward to connecting with you again. Bye for now.